welcome to Eagle Tribune TV. I'm Noah Bombard. In 2003, the city of Methuen purchased the old Bee's Sandwich Shop property with the idea of developing it into a park. As the election season bears down, it has become a bit of a hot potato. Here to talk about that today is reporter J.J. Huggins, who's been covering the story. Now, recently, the city accepted a $250,000 grant to have the property developed, with the one caveat that a boat ramp be placed there.
Yes.
Now, why has this become such a big issue?
Well, it's debatable, mainly in the West District City Council race. You have the City Council Chairwoman, Deborah Quinn. She's a West District City Councilor. She's been the biggest proponent of redeveloping this lot into a park. And as you said, the state is requiring them to build a boat ramp if they choose to redevelop this site. That's the only way they'll get the money from the state, because the money is coming from the Fish and Game Department of the state. And one of the things that Fish and Game does is they promote access to waterways around the state.
So the issue is kind of all or nothing. Either get the grant with the boat ramp or nothing.
Correct.
At all.
And so you have people like Deborah Quinn who say, you know what, this would be great for the city. You build green space. You would obviously bring in some jobs while they, engineer all the plans for the site and bring in construction workers to redevelop everything. But then you have people on the other side of the issue saying, well, no, this is a waste of taxpayer money. We're laying people off, and we're going to go and build a park that is somewhat controversial, because some of the neighbors around there have voiced concerns that if they allow boats, they're going to have to worry about people parking with boat trailers on the side streets in the area there. They think maybe bringing more people in will bring in more litter, potentially some crime issues. So I mean, that's another issue that people are debating back and forth, whether or not having boaters come in would actually contribute to a deteriorating quality of life in the neighborhood.
Right. Well, certainly if you're a neighbor to the property, you're going to have some kind of anxiety about change and what's going to happen there. Now, you and I were out to the property the other day, and there is some litter, there is some issues there. In fact, when we were there, we'll roll some footage of that now. There was a guy that pulled up out of his car and just threw some junk into the parking lot, into the woods.
Not worried that we were standing there at all.
I know, it was pretty amazing. And I think probably from the proponents of the park are saying that the boaters and the people who would be using the park would take better care of it, and it wouldn't be subject to this sort of thing.
Yes, I've heard that argument made, that the boaters would police the place, they would police themselves. One guy said at a meeting that you go up to some of the places in New Hampshire where a lot of boaters go, and you won't even find a cigarette butt on the ground. Yeah. And when you do go there now, there's your usual litter, beer cans. That guy was throwing out like a blanket and some dirty paper towels. Soda bottles, coffee cups. Usual litter that you would find in a parking area like that.
Yeah. Let's talk quickly about the location of the boat ramp and concerns about it being near a water intake.
Yes, the city takes its drinking water from the Merrimack River. The intake valve, a lot of people keep saying the intake valve is, quote, right there. It's not right there at the Bee site. It's down river heading toward Lawrence, right near Riverside Park. In fact, it's right at Riverside Park. That's where the intake valve is. So that's probably, I'd say, a quarter mile away from the Bee site. It's on the other side of Interstate 93.
Now let's talk about one of the other potential possibilities, or really isn't a possibility at this point, but a lot of people would look at that property, especially where it's located, right there on the Merrimack off the highway, and think, wow, what a great place for a business,
right?
Rather than a park.
Which is what you had there before.
Right. Why can't that happen?
It could happen. That's what candidates running for city council have been saying, that the city could sell this property to a business. So A, they would get the money from selling the property, and then B, they would receive tax revenue from whatever business goes there. Businesses obviously pay taxes every year, so they would make money off of this rather than spending taxpayer money on it.
Is there a feeling that would be disingenuous since the purchase of this property was kind of done with the intention of developing in a park from the family that sold it? There's a memorial there now dedicated to the sandwich shop, which had some pretty loyal patrons to actually have this huge monument there.
Right. I haven't heard anybody say that would be disingenuous, although I'd have to imagine that the city would be very sensitive to that if they did decide to sell the property.
Is it predominantly the neighbors? Is it mostly the neighbors, or is there some feeling against this park from the city in general?
I've only really heard it from the neighbors there. Although actually, no, I mean, citywide, I think people are concerned that it's not making money, and the city would be spending taxpayer money on another park, and obviously there are several parks in the city already. So I think citywide people are concerned about, the use of taxpayer money here, especially during this economy.
Great, thank you. Well, we certainly look forward to hearing more about this story in the pages of the Eagle Tribune, as well as here on EagleTribune.com.